Your Grow Report, starting off with the drought monitor as we do each week. An improvement only by a small percentage point in Kansas. 28% drought free. That's a northwest, kind of the southwest corner of the state. 72% of Kansas is abnormally dry, and that is the yellow area. And then 47.75% moderate, kind of this beige color. Then we have 27.5% severe, as it's kind of this orange outline area. Unfortunately, extreme drought, 8.5%, kind of Salina over to Kansas City and just north of Wichita. In that same area, roughly about 1%. Right here is exceptional drought. In Nebraska, on the other hand, 95% drought-free. Abnormally dry is 5%, and then there's really 0.84% of moderate drought in the extreme southeast part of the state. Actually 0.87% to get it right down to very specific details there. Well, precip-wise, our outlook for the month ahead: normal precipitation expected in Nebraska. Kansas, on the other hand, basically a big share of eastern Kansas will be below as far as precip. As far as temperatures, then, most of Kansas about 10 degrees above normal and 5 degrees above normal. The northwest, north central part of Kansas, as well as southern and a big share of eastern Nebraska. Then precip for 3 months out, normal in Nebraska, below the eastern third of Kansas, otherwise normal in that category. And then temperature-wise, Nebraska 5 degrees above normal as far as 3 months out are concerned, nearly 10 degrees above normal for almost all of Kansas except the north tier of Kansas, 5 degrees above normal. How does it stack up this week? Not too bad. A gradual warm up right back to summer and normal levels for this time of year, with 88 Thursday, 90 Friday. Dry for the most part, only slight chances for rain Monday and Wednesday. Normal for this time of year, 87 for high, 65 the low. We are right on track for the week ahead. Here's our proverb this week: evening red and morning gray are sure signs of a fine day. Evening gray and morning red, put on your hat or you'll wet your head. You notice I didn't say bed. That is your Grow Report for this week. Join us again next week when it will be once again time to grow.
We certainly have enjoyed seeing your county fair photos. Keep them coming. Nebraska.tv, click on Chime In. While most of our beef comes from the pasture through the feedlot, now there's a push for so-called lab-created meats. Circa's Dan Bean explains.
Lab-grown or clean meat. San Francisco-based Just is one of those companies and could actually be the first to bring clean meat to actual plates.
We're going to be coming out with the first ever meat that didn't require killing or confining an animal, likely going to be chicken before the end of the year.
Just invited us into its research and development offices to explain the ins and outs.
You have to isolate a small volume of cells from the animal without having to sacrifice it. And then you take these cells to the lab and you have to feed them with the nutrients that the cells require to grow. And then the cells will proliferate until reaching the sufficient numbers that you need to produce a a meat product.
Those nutrients meat growers are stuck using today are found in a blood-based animal serum that's also really expensive. Just's plan to find a cost-effective nutrient solution for its meat growing will be to look to plants, with the products the company has launched so far including plant substitutes for things like mayo, salad dressings, and cookie doughs. For Circa, I'm Dan B. It's very good.
Many in the beef industry feel under attack. Now a local rancher is pushing back, trying to clear up misconceptions about beef. NTV's Alex Whitney has our story.
I've just, over the years, come to understand that beef is sort of under attack. And I say sort of, it is under attack.
Jenkins was giving a presentation to the Rotary Club of Grand Island Tuesday on the misconceptions of the beef industry. He says that the attacks on the healthiness and sustainability of beef have been around since the 70s.
Well, starting with the 1977 dietary recommendations by the U.S. government, which is seen in our food pyramid, beef has been marginalized. We are now beginning to see tremendous research that shows that fat in diets is actually important.
In addition to inaccurate information about the health benefits of eating beef, Jenkins also says there are many misconceptions when it comes to the sustainability of the industry. Critics of the beef industry draw issue with how draining it is on natural resources to produce grain for cattle feed. Jenkins points out, though, that the vast majority of cattle feeding being done is on sustainable grassland pasture.
Well, even in our grain-fed-based beef industry here in Nebraska, 80% of, generally 75 to 80% of the diets are coming from forage and grasslands. Yes, those animals eventually end up in a feeding situation 120, 150 days, but for most of an animal's life, they're consuming cellulosic material which it cannot be consumed by humans.
Being the largest industry in Nebraska, Jenkins feels it is important for Nebraskans involved in the beef industry to speak up about the good that the industry does.
If it's under attack, I think it's up to Nebraska to stand up and correct the narrative, tell our story. Too often we let everyone else tell our story. We're nice people. We're just out here doing the work, producing food for the world.
County Fair adventures continue. More from the Valley County Fair next.